Listen, everybody needs a fairy godmother, just somebody to look out for them. Some people call me their fairy smoke mother, others their internet big sister, but you can call me Hannah, the host of Smoke Sesh. So come hang out, let's light up and talk everything there is to life. The good, the bad, the ugly, the embarrassing. I've got a story for it all. Hello, my besties. Welcome back to another episode of Smoke Sesh. My name is Hannah, your host. I'm sure you guys already know. Actually, maybe you don't. There's a lot of new people joining this spooky season, which I am so happy to have you guys here. Oh my goodness. Randomly, we will get an influx of like 100,000, 200,000 plus new listeners randomly on like a Tuesday. And I'm like, oh my goodness, where the hell did you guys come from? Either way, happy to have you here. Welcome to Smoke Sesh, the podcast where all walks of life get together to talk everything, honestly. Everything under the sun. No topic is off limits here. Anyways, hope you guys had a fantastic week. It is officially fall, you guys. It dropped down to 65 degrees. There is a crisp, cool chill in the air. The leaves are finally falling. They're no longer green. They are red. I'm like, oh my goodness. Before we know it, everything's going to be bare and barren and cold. And anyway, so I'm trying to really enjoy and soak up this beautiful weather while I can. Yesterday, I actually went to a fall festival. Oh my God, I love this fall festival. If you're in like Kansas, Missouri area, it's called the Baldwin Maple Leaf Festival. You guys, anyways, so we always drive out like an hour to the country and we do a lot of shopping because it's basically this giant street craft vendor fair. And one thing about me, I love a homemade good. I love a fun little thing. I love a trinket. I love an item. And we always go and just stock up with as much as we can of little fun things to get us through the winter. So I always go and buy handmade soaps, like body soap. There's this one place that makes this really beautiful shea body soap with homemade herbs that they grow at their farm. I also bought some immunity tea from them. Shout out. I got some new oven mitts. There's this like mother and daughter who make handmade oven mitts with like cute cats on them. I got one with like cherries and fruits on them for the spring. It's going to be amazing. What else? Honey, of course. I got some tallow butter. Oh, and then this was so cool. There's this new company out there who hand makes flour out of ancient grains from the Midwest. What? Hello? Didn't know I needed that. Yes, I bought a bag. And it was so beautiful because they had these handmade, hand-printed original flour bags, like flour sacks, instead of just like a paper bag that you would get at the store. I was like, I'll take 20. Just kidding. I bought one, but I'm hoping to make some sweet potato donut holes with that. I have a lot of recipes coming up, you guys, on the Instagram as well. I know I sound like a mother of 8 children right now. I don't know what it is about just like fall that gets me in the cooking, good food mood. No, girl, I just get so freaking stoned and love eating food. Like, it is probably the one thing in this life that brings me an immense amount of pleasure. So I have a homemade French onion grilled cheese recipe as well as tomato soup coming up by the end of this week. I'm also going to be doing a caramel apple nachos infused recipe, which is going to be super fun. Munch on those before you go out for Halloween. But it's been a good little, honestly, kind of country week. Country girls. Shake it for me, all right? I also had lessons last week, which was so fun. Technically my lessons are only supposed to be an hour, but me and this girl have been doing it together and we were there for like 4 hours. My boyfriend was like, are you okay? Like, I'm a little nervous that you died on the highway. Can you just do a little mental check-in with me? And yeah, we show up. The instructor is probably a couple years older than me. So we just sit down. We have a kiki. We do our little horse riding lessons. We help out around the barn. She let me like feed the horses last time. It was just so amazing and so beautiful because I'm like, if I want to actually like be around this or even just like have property or have animals at some point, like I need to know how to do everything. Like, sure, the fun things, riding a horse, being able to take care of it, be safe around it, absolutely, but also like maybe the not so fun things that you would think about are fun to me because it's new, and also I need to learn. Like, I need to know how to do these things. I'm in my Nara Smith if she was just so incredibly high era, honestly. I'm trying to get my money up and disappear into the forest with farm animals where it is peace and quiet. Mill my own fucking flour if I have to. And then I'm so excited. I'm going to the pumpkin patch tomorrow. Finally. Oh my goodness. Usually we go beginning of October. We've just been busy around here. So finally we are going to the pumpkin patch tomorrow. Go get some pumpkins, carve them up, keep out the evil spirits. If you guys don't know the history behind or why people would carve pumpkins, essentially it is to ward off evil spirits from your house on Hallow Eve's night. The spooky scary faces are supposed to scare them away from entering your house. So I think mine's gonna be a cat. I'm gonna make a cat pumpkin, put that up on my front porch. And yeah, like I said, get all the seasonal things done so when the dent of winter hits, I'm not like, oh my God, I let life slip me by. No, I took every opportunity I could to enjoy and frolic and relic in the fall foliage. Wow, that was a mouthful. Also, T-minus 2 weeks before I leave for Japan. Yeah, my life is going to be moving so fast for the next month, I think. Pretty much. I am just prepping before I leave for Japan, but essentially it's just prep for Halloween. Halloween happens immediately on a plane. Oh my God, it's like a 24-hour travel day, but those tickets were so cheap. I'm like, you know what? I'm young. My back is relatively healthy. Like, fuck it. Let's do it. Land to Japan. We're there for like a week and a half. If you have any Japan tips, tricks, recommendations, let me know below. But I'm pretty much just traveling there to shop, eat, and hopefully kind of get out into nature and experience the countryside of Japan as well. Whew, but then I get back mid-November and then it's Thanksgiving and then it's, oh my God, Christmas and then it's New Year's. You guys, this year is fucking flying by. I honestly can't even believe it's already October. I don't know if your guys' year has been moving as fast as mine has. This is one of those things where as I get older, I'm asking myself, like, is this just like an old person thing where you're like, holy shit, each year is moving faster and faster and faster? Or is it just like this year in particular has been moving quickly? Either way, I'm like, oh my God, girl, it's time to lock in, enjoy to the best of my ability, set my goals for winter so I do have a successful winter. And then, you know, start planning for 2026. 2026? What the hell? Anyways, we're not going to get that far ahead of ourselves. Oh my God, I just opened my podcast app. You guys, we officially have hit 4 years of Smoke Sesh. What the hell? Time has flown. 4 years? Are you kidding me? I started this podcast when I was a teeny weeny little baby, like 22-year-old. Hello? Oh my God, I was such a hot mess. Thinking back to the 22-year-old who was sitting in this chair now, where I am now. Oh, thank God, trust your brain will develop. You will settle down from all of that chaos and anxiety. You will figure it out one step at a time. Do not worry. But when I was 22, first starting this podcast, I was, taking dabs probably once an hour throughout the entire day. I was unemployed, in between jobs, about to start serving again. I was like struggle bussing on a lot of mushrooms all the time. It was post-COVID. The world was still kind of in shambles. No one really knew what to do with themselves. I didn't know what to do with myself. And this podcast at 22, when I first started, was something I had been putting off for about a year. It was something that people had been wanting, people had been asking for, and I was just like, I don't really know how to do it, until I finally just started doing it. And I literally started not with a microphone, not with a computer, not with a camera. I started this podcast through my voice notes on my iPhone. I would record each segment, each question as a voice note in my iPhone and then upload it directly to like the streaming service that uploads it to Spotify. That's how I would make those episodes. You can do anything. If you have an iPhone, you have the tools in your hand to genuinely do anything. It is crazy to see myself go from that to now go to, I guess, like semi-professional setting, and how far I have grown in 4 years. I'm so incredibly proud of myself and where I've gotten and how I've challenged myself and how settled I am now. Of course, I always want more for myself, but seeing how much I have completely transformed and changed in 4 years is so incredibly beautiful and wonderful, and just brings so much hope for what the next 4 years holds. And if you are someone who has been here from the beginning, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And please, please look back on those 4 years and give yourself a pat on the back for how much you have grown as well, for how far you have gone alongside me. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm not going anywhere. We got plenty of time to hang out, to catch up, to grow up together. I think that's what's so beautiful, is that we can all come here and be our true, authentic selves, to show the messy, the unseen, the untalked about, but what is real and what is human to all of us. I think that really just brings people together, especially now more so than ever, where everybody likes to put on a facade. No, I don't make mistakes. No, I'm not. I don't have pimples. I don't fart. You know, like, hello, we are human. We all do these things. And the more we try and remove ourselves from our humanness, the less connection we have to each other. I think it's just really nice to have this place where we can all just be truly and honestly ourselves, no matter what that looks like, and know that we have something in common through our uniqueness and ability to accept ourselves for who we are. Oh, how beautiful. It's a sunny day out. There's a crisp chill in the air. It is fall. We've hit our 4-year anniversary. I am blowing you a big kiss. Mwah. Thank you for being here. Enough of me rambling. Let's get into your guys' questions. All right, someone said, help, Halloween is in 2 weeks and I don't know what to do at all. Help, help, help. Okay. You know what, Queen? You are so right. And I need us all to take a deep breath. Exhale. Because Halloween is about fun times, eating candy, gallivanting around, pretending you're a different character, painting your entire body green to be Elphaba. Like, it is a very unserious time, and I need you to kind of take it that way. I think there's been this pressure, especially the older we get, on Halloween to be like, you have to have the most perfect costume ever for the year. It has to look amazing, and it has to cost this much money. You need to look a certain way and behave a certain way, and you need to party for about 2 weeks before Halloween even starts. It's like, oh my God, I'm exhausted even thinking about that. You know how I'm celebrating Halloween? I'm buying all of my favorite candy. I'm dressing up like a couple times in outfits that I think are just like fun and fit the theme of me personally this year. I'm maybe going to go out one night, and then that's it. I will be so happy doing that. In fact, last Halloween, I was in my inside era. I was in my agoraphobia era, and we didn't even go out. I just got dressed up at home, bought a bottle of champagne. We called in pizza. We watched a spooky movie and ate candy. It was perfect. Halloween is what you make of it, and it's truly all about doing what you feel like is fun for you. Your Halloween costume does not need to be like so incredibly, I mean, if you're a DIY queen, please get into it, please, please, please. But like, you can hit the thrift store and put together a Halloween costume in about 5 minutes. I think for me personally, the niche costumes are so fun. Like the random character that you're just like super interested in, even though nobody has any clue what it's about. Like, that's what Halloween's about. It's like those little random kids who are like walking up to trick or treat at your doorstep, and you're like, who the fuck are they dressed as? I gotta catch up with the lore of the children. Like, what is going on? Who is that person? That's what makes it fun. When you're drunk at the Halloween party and everybody is like, who are you? It gives you an opportunity to just like be a little part of yourself and what you're interested in, and also just like contain that childlike wonder, you know? No one cares who you're gonna be for Halloween except for you, and that's what matters. For me personally, I have a couple different costumes. I'll talk about my past costumes. I think my best one by far was Sailor Moon. I mean, for obvious reasons. She was so fun to be. I did that, I think, 3 years ago. So I've been Sailor Moon. I was Alice in Wonderland after that because we went to a rave and I felt like that was just on theme. Hello, Alice in Wonderland. Down the rabbit hole, girl. I'm eating some mushrooms and going to a rave and staring at lasers all night. Thank you. Last year I was Pamela Anderson. I had her really sexy red and pink latex dress made and just got all dolled up and looked cute and hot. Back in college when I was like super broke, I always went for like the funny costumes. So like when Post Malone was really big, you know, I just threw on some face tats and called it a day. Any sort of store-bought sexy Halloween costume in college was also like perfect. This year I do have a couple costumes under my belt. I'm not sure what I'm going to be, when or where or why at all. But I do have like a cowgirl costume. I feel like that was very on theme for me this year. I have a Kill Bill costume because that's what I wanted to be in high school, but I didn't have any money. And also like I wasn't really doing anything on Halloween, so I didn't really dress up. But Kill Bill, like one piece set, hot, sexy, fun. I'm gonna throw some fake blood on myself. I also have a Starfire costume. I don't know if I'm gonna wear that just because I don't want to wear a wig all night. That just seems like a lot. Oh yeah, and then I have a Hannah Montana costume because that just felt, like I said, on brand with me this year. My life is a movie. Call me Hannah Montana, period. So think about you, think about your personality and go from there. It doesn't need to be anything crazy, spectacular, insane. You can DIY it if you like. I think the DIY costumes are so much more fun than the ones that are maybe store-bought. But also, I don't hate a store-bought costume. All of the ones I just mentioned are practically store-bought costumes. Most importantly, don't stress yourself out and dress up as what you want to be. The same way children are like, imagination, who do I want to be? Oh, I want to be a zombie prom queen. That's what I wanted to be one year. Fuck it. Let's go thrift a prom dress. Let's throw some fake blood on you and a prom sash and a tiara. Put some dark circles under your eyes, babe. Call it a fucking day. Now, I will say we will do a Halloween confessionals episode. I'm not sure if we should do it before Halloween, like next week or after. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. I don't know if I'll have like more stories, more confessionals if we wait until after actual Halloween weekend. But I do know in the whole party scene, party world, Halloween it has already started. It has. I've already seen some costumes pop out. I've seen some people start dressing up. I feel like last weekend and the next 2 weekends are when people are going out partying and people are taking time to throw their parties. Me personally, I cannot do the party marathon anymore. I'm not built like that. I don't want my liver to die, and I do hate hangovers. In fact, I had this realization. Everybody hates hangovers, but I had this realization this weekend because on Friday night, I was having a good night. We went out. I was like, having my little drink, doing whatever. The thing about me is I can only drink vodka or wine. That's it. I mean, if it's a mixed drink, I can do it because it's like mixed with something. But I had tequila at some point in the night. My body cannot process tequila. If I have a shot of tequila, if I have a tequila soda, margaritas are fine, but tequila in general, it like has this way of throwing me into the most violent hangover ever. And also like it throws off my stomach. I don't know what it is. I think it's just because I never drink it, but I came home, I had some ramen, and I vomited. I have not thrown up in such a long time. And even as I was throwing up, I was like, I didn't even like drink that much. It was just like maybe 3 or 4 drinks on a night out. But one of them was tequila shot. Oh, girl, that was what did me in. I woke up the next morning semi-hungover. My key to getting over a hangover as fast as possible is, of course, chugging water. But if you can go get yourself like a 68-ounce green juice, like apples, kale, fucking cauliflower, I don't care. Throw it in every single item that is green that comes from the earth naturally. Chug one of those. You will be feeling better. Definitely. I get up. I'm like, all right, we got to make a green juice run. I end up at the juice bar. I'm hungover as hell, standing around, looking around me at all these people who looked like they just got out of a race. Oh yeah, the Kansas City Marathon was the same morning, and me hungover in the juice bar at 9 a.m. Everybody else was in there and had just finished 26 miles. Yeah, two very different lifestyles. And I had this realization where I was like, I can't do it anymore. Props to me for getting it out of my system when I was younger, because I do feel very at peace with where I am now. I don't feel the need to like, oh my God, I need to party. I need to like go out and drink every single night. I got that out of my system when I was younger, but now I'm like, I'm just really, really over it. Of course, I enjoy maybe a cocktail at a nice night out with friends, or a glass of wine at like a sleepover party movie watch situation with my girls. But gone are the nights where I'm like, I can take 12 shots in a night and be fine. It's not gonna happen. I'm over the hangovers. I'm over the binge drinking era, over the party marathon era. I'm not built for it, but if you are built for it, go out, have fun, be safe, stick to one alcohol, drink your water in between, please, for the love of God, and make sure you eat beforehand. Seriously. But for me, Halloween is looking like go out, dress up, get some photos, have a couple cocktails, dance my little heart out, hopefully be home by like midnight, eat a bunch of candy, watch a scary movie, pass the fuck out. That is my ideal Halloween. Actually, you know what? If I was still crazy, you know what my Halloween costume would be? And I think this is a great Halloween costume. Nude bodysuit, Skims bush thong. That's it. You guys, bush thong. Fashion really is so cylindrical. I didn't realize we would be going all the way back to like the fucking 1500s. Nobles used to wear fake bushes because they shaved everything down there. Not for aesthetics like we do now or whatever. They shaved everything down there because it was a sign of cleanliness, because if you don't have hair, you don't have crabs. And so they wore fake bushes as, you know, a fashion aesthetic tool. But they didn't have bushes because if you had a bush, you had crabs. Nowadays, it's kind of different. Still a little similar. Fake bushes? You know what? One thing about her, marketing genius. Marketing genius. If I had $1 million fucking quadrillion billion dollars like she did and the power to do anything genuinely, I would also be out there making bush thongs, because why the hell not, you know? But it is so funny how everything comes back into fashion. This year we've seen a rise of like the indie sleaze 2016, which I think we're gonna see a lot more of next year. But also like we're seeing a rise of like, oh my God, people are wearing nightgowns from the Edwardian era and Skims bush thongs. That's insane. And as like having a little bit of like a fashion background, it is just so interesting to see. And honestly, I am here for the charades. I'm here for the fun of it all. Fuck it. But yeah, if I was crazy, that's what I would do. Nude bodysuit, bush thong, maybe some high heels, call it a day. Oh, also, I have a ghost story for you. This actually happened the other night. So crazy. So on YouTube, I just uploaded, and I uploaded it earlier for the Patreon girlies know they get extra special treatment. I'm so sorry, but of course they do. Shout out to my girls, patreon.com/smokeseshshotty. Come join. We have so much fun over there. But I made a vlog where essentially I went ghost hunting. Not really ghost hunting. I wanted to show up for my sisters. There was these 2 witches out where I live in Missouri that were murdered for being witches. They were just like sisters, obviously didn't do anything wrong. So I went and found the jail cell where they were killed in, and then also left some offerings. I also did a little altar refresh and like what herbs I use in my practice if you're curious. It's on YouTube, Hannah Marlene 444. But that night I came home, you know, cozying up, going to bed, laying my little head down to rest after being so incredibly exhausted. I fall asleep to the Twilight movie. Of course, I'm on a Twilight kick right now. We're rewatching all of them. My boyfriend has never seen Twilight, so he's like, bitch, what the fuck is going on in these movies? Just sit back and enjoy the ride, all right? There is nothing quite like a Twilight movie marathon. Those movies get crazier and crazier the older you watch them. But I'm falling asleep. I'm laying my head down. I'm falling asleep. And then I wake up. Bam, 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 bam. 4 loud knocks on my front door. It's like 2:30 a.m. I wake up immediately. I'm shaking my boyfriend awake. Like, what the fuck was that? Get up. Of course, he didn't hear anything. My cat's looking around because his least favorite noise in the world is someone knocking on our front door. So I knew I wasn't crazy because he was also looking around like, what the hell is going on? But this has happened probably 1 year prior, where in the middle of the night, about 3 a.m., I hear 4 loud knocks on my front door. Steady loud knocks. Bam, 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 bam. 4 of them, then it stops. Last year, I was delusional and I tried to wake my boyfriend up. He's a deep sleeper, and he didn't wake up, but I was like, oh my God, what if there's a fire? What if something's going wrong? I wasn't in a right state. So I got up and I actually checked my door. Don't do that. I opened my door, I unlocked it, I opened it. It was probably like 15 seconds after something knocked. No one was out there. Yeah. No one was out there. This time around, I'm like shaking my boyfriend awake. You're gonna go check this time, not me, because this has happened to me once before and I'm not going out there. He gets up, he turns on all the lights, he goes, he checks the front door. No one is there. I don't know what it is. I've looked online. I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but it's so funny that it's only happened twice in 1 year in between it happening. I would say it was probably about this time last year I heard the knocks. I asked my neighbors. They said they didn't hear anything at night. No one knows what happened. No one was there. I did some research online. Someone said maybe it was like exploding head syndrome, which is when you're falling asleep, you start hearing loud noises because your brain is like in between like the dream state and the real world, and you have like auditory hallucinations sometimes. But the fact that I heard it and my cat heard it was the confirmation I needed that no, that actually happened. Like I said, danger. He's on edge. He does not like the front door being knocked on. It puts him on edge. He immediately goes into hiding, and he was ready to bounce as soon as he heard that. He was standing up ready to go. I don't know what it was. I'm going to just let it be though. That's for sure. Not going to investigate any further. But that's been my most recent paranormal experience. And the thing is, I definitely live in a very, very haunted apartment. It is. There's a lot of paranormal activity. I've talked about, walking out of my bedroom door at 2 a.m. to go get a glass of water, and I walk directly into a man's chest. I'm not even kidding. Directly into a man's chest. So much so that it like throws me back for a second. Like I stumble backwards. No one's there. No one's there. I look up. No one's there. Okay, let me go fill up my water. I see people walking through the hallway out of the corner of my eye. This building has been around for about a long time. I would say at least since late 1800s, that's for sure. And my building, my apartment is actually what was 3 apartments. So they tore down the walls in between them and made it big enough that it's one giant apartment now. But that means there was 3 different families or 3 different groups of people living throughout here for however many years to come until I ended up here. I've also talked about my neighbor literally dying downstairs. Of course, he's going to haunt the fuck out of this place. So there's a lot of energy and spookiness and ghosts and goblins and creatures lurking wherever you may look in this apartment. And the one thing I do when it comes to approaching any sort of like paranormal or ghost is you cannot let fear give into yourself. The fear is what really powers, I think, more of the visions or experiences. They're not going to hurt you. They're not here to hurt you. They're not here to even just like make you scared. It really is just like a cross between realms, and sometimes they take one step foot over into our realm. Sometimes we accidentally take one step over into theirs, and it's just kind of like a mix match. I talked about the veil being really thin last episode, and I think that's why I heard those knocks, is because, those realms and the veil is getting thinner and thinner, and we're crossing over into each other's worlds more often than usual. And thus I'm like, we need to go to the pumpkin patch and we need to carve pumpkins immediately. Any sort of spiritual protection I can take, I do take. Jar of salt by the door, done. Okay. Incense burning to cleanse the air, to cleanse the energy, done. Pumpkin carving, gonna happen. Leaving out offerings, gonna happen. One thing about me, I do believe in the spiritual, and I do interact, and I do take precaution, and so should you. But yeah, that was terrifying. I was like, oh my God, who the fuck is banging on our front door? Because for me, with like my anxiety OCD, I have this thing about like a house fire. I'm just like so terrified of that happening because it's just something that's out of my control. A lot of my anxiety stems from things that are out of my control, things that I can't do anything about, and I'm terrified of being in a position where something bad happens and it was out of my control, thus me freaking out about house fires. So whenever like there's any sort of interaction or like of course knocking on the door, that's my immediate first thought. It wasn't, oh, there's a ghost man outside my front door knocking. No, it was, oh my God, the building's on fire. Boyfriend, get up, make sure there's no one out there who's like trying to get us out of here. But happy Halloween season, you guys. Someone asked, do you have any book recs? Actually, yeah, now that we're rounding out the end of the year, if you guys don't know, I do a book club book every month on the Patreon where I just share what I'm reading for the month and why it's inspired me. Let me go grab some of my at least like top 3 or 5 favorite reads so far. 1 second. Oh my God, I literally just walked around real quick. As you can tell from the bookshelf behind me, I do have quite a book collection so far. I really have been challenging myself this year to read 1 book a month. The kids are illiterate. They need to be back in school. We need to be reading and not using ChatGPT. I am begging you. We need to think for ourselves. I get some comments sometimes, which is so funny because I really don't think this about myself, but thank you, queens, where it's like, you use some words that I've literally never heard of. Do you know why I use those words? It's because I get them from books. I read them in books and I'm like, oh, that's how you use this. Now I can apply it to life. All right. We need to keep our brains fed. We need to keep our knowledge and our me like, yes, I am very articulate. No, girl, you can't string together barely a sentence. The same way the gym bros are working out their bodies, we need to be doing that, but also we need to be working out our brains. It is very important, especially now more so than ever when they are trying to silence education and silence our access to knowledge. So let me share some things that I have really, really enjoyed. First of all, what I'm reading this month is on the witchy theme. It's been good so far. I don't know if it'll be like my 5-star read, but it's definitely interesting. It's called Slewfoot. It's about a ancient spirit and then this woman who is essentially a widow, and people start believing she is a witch, and it's based in like, I don't know, the 1800s. Pretty good so far. I need to get further into it. Even though I have like 2 weeks left in October, sometimes I can fly through these real quick. There's also illustrations in it, which I find interesting. Not a lot of authors include illustrations as much anymore, and I think that's a really fun part of reading. Not that I need a picture book, but especially when there's some very, very visceral imagery, I do enjoy seeing how they would depict that in their own image. Now, last month, which was a 5-star read absolutely for me, such an incredible read, Between Two Fires. I heard so many good things about this book, and honestly, listen, self-help podcast, whatever, just chatting podcast, yes. But because of that, I had spent the past 2 years reading a lot of self-help books, which kind of killed my passion for reading. And so I challenged myself to kind of get into the fantasy world of it all. And so this is medieval horror. Actually, it's a medieval horror book, and it's about essentially like a gay priest, drunk gay priest, medieval knight, and then this young girl who is seen almost like as this godlike angel figure, traveling throughout like bubonic plague Europe and trying to survive while angels and devils wage war on the earth. It is crazy. It is insane. This is such a fun read. I actually read it, I'm not even kidding, in 16 hours. I went on a road trip. I read it for 4 hours in the car there, 4 hours in the car back, and then I immediately got home, sat down, finished it. It is so good and absolutely a 5-star read from this year. If you are interested in fantasy, horror, a tale of like real journey, this is so good. Now, my other 5-star read for the year, I've only had 2 so far, although everything I've read this year has been honestly fairly good, is Braiding Sweetgrass. I've talked about this before. This is by Robin Wall Kimmerer. It is so good and so inspiring if you need a new output and like inspiration on the world, and not like the world in tandem with people, although that too, like community based, but also how we view the earth and how much we use the earth without really thinking of it. Like that sweater you're wearing, where do you think it came from? How do you think it was made? Was it made with love? Was it made with purpose? Or is it just like in a mass factory somewhere being made? You know, that neighbor down the street, how can you reach out to them and make sure that they are loved and cared for? Thinking about intentionality, living side by side with the world and finding inspiration in it. This is such a good read. It was actually recommended to me by my brother. And Robin Wall-Kimmerer is a botanist as well as a member of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. And she embraces the notion that plants and animals are our oldest teachers. So incredibly good. I recommend this to literally everyone. Now, switching it up, I read this in July, and I think it was a perfect time to read it because I think this is a great summer book. It's a great road trip book, and it's actually a poetry book, but it is called Instructions for Traveling West by Joy Sullivan, and she wrote this after leaving her husband of like however many years and traveling across the West in hopes of like finding herself in life. And it's a collection of short stories and poems of her experience, of her finding hope in the world, of her finding herself, and of her travels. It is really, really good, and I think it's a great book to pick up when you need just like a dose of inspiration, an easy read and a high dose of inspiration. This is fantastic. Now, of course, I have to shout out my favorite author ever, literally ever, honestly. She is such a hot girl. I think she is the ultimate hot girl, if I'm being honest. And I wish I had more to read from her, but I fear about 2 years ago, I went into an Eve Babbitt's spiral and I only bought things that she had written, whether it was articles, poems, novels. It didn't matter. I read it all. And so I have nothing else to catch up with her on, unfortunately, but she is such a good novelist. Eve Babbitt is definitely one of my favorite authors ever. Sex and Rage is a fantastic one to get into it if you are interested in getting into Eve Babbitt. Most of her writing is based off her real life experience. This is based off of the idea of this girl who is moving between Los Angeles and New York, and her experience kind of in the 1970s of sex, of love, of dating, of being in the party scene. It is fantastic. It is such a quick, easy read. And the way that she views life and like the rants that she goes on are so beautiful. She really finds beauty in everything. There's this one chapter she wrote about of her going to a dance night, and it was so random. She just showed up. This man convinced her to dance with her, the instructor. She was stumbling over her feet, but it brought this new inspiration and hope to her, and so she started incorporating it in her everyday weekly routine until it became something that like she couldn't live without, that she truly enjoyed. And it really is those little things that do bring joy to us. And so it's little writings like that, little chapters like that, that really changed my outlook and my inspiration on life. But Eve Babbitt, the woman you are, love her down. Now I have one last book, which is kind of beat up, but I think it is a fantastic book, especially if you're going through a creative block. I had someone ask, actually, you know, what do I do when I'm going through a creative block? And if you need a good written out long form instructional manual on how to be an artist, how to create, and the act of creating, this is the book for you. It's called The Creative Act, okay? A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. And it is all about his perspective on creating, what is making art, how do we do it, how do we be passionate about it, how do we keep creating and fuel that fire inside of us. I literally just picked a random page and opened it, and it said, sometimes the mistakes are what makes us a work great. Humanity breathes in mistakes. Love that. There's just so many inspirational and fantastic chapters in here about like the unseen. It's always there. Finding hope, finding passion, finding creativity, how to actually craft the energy in the work, putting your energy into the work, creating from yourself, finding cooperation within yourself. The reason we're alive is to express ourselves in the world, and creating art may be the most effective and beautiful method of doing so. Art goes beyond languages, beyond lives. It's a universal way to send message between each other and through time. it is just so inspirational and fantastic, especially if you're an artist, especially if you're in a creative block and you need a new dose of hope and inspiration on being a creative person. It can be troubling sometimes. This makes the weight and the burden of that be lifted. So those have been my favorite reads, some really fantastic reads. I mean, I have so many to recommend. If you are interested in what I'm reading and what I'm picking up, join the Patreon. Like I said, every month I share what I'm reading there, my little book club book. I have no clue what I'm going to read for November, but I keep finding these really beautiful hidden gems, and reading has been such a huge passion of mine for a while now. I love that I've been able to spark it again within inside myself, and hopefully I can spark it within you as well. It's also going to be like the number one way I get through winter. A little escapism is healthy for us, especially if we are reading a book. Like I said, someone asked on how to overcome creative blocks. I do think the creative act, a way of being, is a great way to start. I mean, reading, gaining knowledge, and how to incorporate that knowledge into being a more successful artist. But I do think, especially being a very creative individual and going through creative blocks quite often, I think most creative blocks are a lack of rest, a lack of relaxation, and not enough balance in life. When I find myself like overproducing, overcreating, and not allowing myself time to rest and relax in between, I find myself unable to find stability in the act of creating and make it a stable output. When I balance it out, though, when I plan ahead, when I really make sure I'm not overdoing myself, or if I am overdoing myself, compensating with enough rest time, then I am able to create more often and create at a consistent rate where it feels right. It feels good, you know? So rest is a very important factor, making sure you are taking care of the whole body, the whole self, that you are finding balance within your life. So then you are able to prioritize not only yourself, your creative act, your work, whatever it is. And also, when you hit that creative block, don't stop. That is not the time to stop. Resting is one thing. It's still moving forward, because you know that reserving that energy or rebuilding that energy, you'll be able to then push it into something else. So I do find resting as a way to keep pushing forward. But when you hit that creative block, it does not mean halt. It does not mean stop the entire process. It means, okay, let's switch it up. Let's try something different. Let's, adjust a little bit. Maybe we're going to go into like a little brainstorming mode. Maybe instead of painting, we're going to draw. Maybe instead of drawing, we're going to mold, sculpt. Maybe we're going to build a mood board. We are going to start a new project. We're going to start brainstorming a new project, and then we'll come back to that old project. You have to come back to that old project though, all right? Maybe it's like, okay, instead of doing a big, massive painting, I'm simply going to do one little sketchbook drawing. But the thing is, you have to keep that creative process going. In art school, we had to do, and everybody hated this, but we had to do daily pages. I think a lot of people do this when it comes to journaling. They'll do their morning pages. And it's the same sort of thought process where every single day, if you sit down and do something, it will put you in the habit of being able to persevere through creative blocks. And so every day we were forced to sit down and do some sort of page, a simple page in our sketchbook, probably like 4x6, small little sketchbook. It didn't have to be anything special. All you had to do was put pen to paper. It could be anything. You could be lazy. Literally, my professor didn't care. He was like, you could be lazy. You could put your pen to the paper and draw a smiley face. That's it. One line, half circle, full circle, done. You could call it 3 seconds if you want. It doesn't matter. Put that pen to that paper, do something. You'd be surprised, even with zero energy, with the most creative block you would like to say, when you finally put that pen to that paper and allow yourself to enter that creative realm, you will usually create something you have never thought about. You never thought about doing, something that you will blow yourself away with, because you allow yourself to enter the free realm of you can do whatever you want. This page is open to anything that you could possibly imagine. If you allow yourself to just enter that flow of, it doesn't matter what I put on here as long as I put something on here. It opens up that freedom. It opens up those gates and really gives you the wings to be able to create what you never could have imagined. A lot of my best artwork, my best creative process has come from not me sitting and thinking and pondering and wondering, but simply just following the flow of energy. Okay, we're going to start with pen to paper. We're going to do some little doodles. We're going to do some drawing. Maybe it's just color theory. Maybe we're just working on pairing colors. Okay, now let's move from there. Let's do something else. Let's focus on maybe how these colors work together and what shapes they work with. Okay, now what's the mood in here? You know, it really is following that flow of energy, but you cannot halt that flow of energy. And I do truly believe that resting is pushing forward. A lot of people think, oh, resting, we're pausing. No, sure, in the grand scheme of things, you might be pausing for a second, but you being able to take time to rebuild that energy, to recoup, recover, is the same thing as taking a step forward, in my opinion. But I do think when you encounter a creative block, you have to push through it. It doesn't have to be the biggest, most amazing artwork to push through it. It doesn't have to be the same thing you've been doing for the past 3 years, but it needs to be something, whether it's a simple little smiley face on your sketchbook page, it doesn't matter. Just put pen to paper, keep it moving forward. Someone asked, what do I do if I suddenly hate my whole closet and Instafeed? Nothing feels like me. We are facing the era of change, you guys. You know, fall is happening. We're kind of looking around us and we're going, what the hell? This year's flown by. What's going on? What do I do from here? I think a lot of people are encountering this where it's like, I just don't feel myself. Maybe something feels off. You know, I'm bored. I'm ready to do something new. That feeling of everything in my closet doesn't feel good. I put on clothes that I wore last year and I loved. I don't like it anymore. I want newness. I want change. You don't start with purchasing a bunch of clothes. You don't start with, okay, I'm going to up and move somewhere. You don't start with the go. You start with a purge. You need a life purge. You do. And I'm not taking like, you know, a massive purge. We need to get rid of everything and become like a nun. No, just like clear out that closet. You're looking for space for refresh. You can't bring newness in if you're holding on to things from your past. Your past will not push you into the present or even into the future. Only space for opportunity will. So that comes with clothes, that comes with style, that comes with relationships, that comes with everything. And especially in the fall, now is a great time to purge, the great purge, all right? Get into that closet, ask yourself, literally try on all your clothes. Does this feel good on my skin? Do I feel comfortable in it? Is this just something that, oh, I think looks cute, but I actually have never worn before? Literally the tags are still on. You can find a new, better home. You can donate it. You can sell it on Depop, make a little change to put forward into some new clothes down the line, you know? But we need to purge out things that are not bringing us joy, things that don't fit into our lives, and realistically ask ourselves, you know, does this thing actually belong in my life in the future, or is this something I'm holding on to from the past? Like I said, this has less to do with clothes than anything, and more so do with like the whole holistic aspect of our lives. I think we all right now are purging a lot of things, whether it's like spiritually, physically, mentally, so we can bring newness into our lives. So we have space for excitement and the future, and you're making room for those new opportunities and those new blessings to occur. So I don't think it's that your life is going wrong or everything's off or whatever it may be. I think you're just chasing a new future, a new beginning, a new start. And that has to start with opening space and opening energy to do so. And if your life is so cluttered with all of these things, you won't have any room to bring those things in. So we got to purge, we got to release, we got to let go. That old, you know, emotion you've been holding on to for forever that has never done you any good, that has only put you down and kept you 4 years in the past. Babe, we got to let her go. We got to leave her where she is. She's not helping us. She's not making us a better person. She's just keeping us pushed down and held back. Those old people that you know aren't good for you, but you keep hanging out with because you guys have the same interests, even though those interests don't even interest you anymore. It's like, it's okay to expand and, you know, open up time for other things, or maybe fill in that gap with some hobbies, you know, release so you have space to do so. Maybe it is something physical like clothes or your space. You're like, oh, my space is just so cluttered and messy. Our brains could be our space. Our homes could be our space. Clean, donate, get rid of. It will open up opportunity for goodness, for newness, and for breathing room for you to decide where you want to go next, how you want to fill that space, to really think about it and enter that new era intentionally. But before we get to the whole, okay, how do we move into this new era? You need to enter the purge phase. Someone asked, what's your key to healthy skin? Honestly, I'm tired of recommending products or things like that. If I'm going to be real, genuine, honest with you on how you get healthy skin and you understand your skin, it's 2 things. I know, oh my God, not a whole 10-step skincare routine. No, 2 things. An esthetician, a really good esthetician. And if the esthetician can't do enough and you're really facing some serious like hormonal, deep acne, scarring, whatever it may be, a dermatologist. Fuck the noise of what these fucking influencers are trying to sell you or these celebrities. Celebrities are not estheticians. They are not dermatologists. I do not trust them. These, mass marketed brands where you're scrolling and you see, oh my God, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. This person loves that. Oh my gosh, this person loves this too. Oh, I should try that since everybody's talking about it. No, they are corrupting your brain because they're paying all these people to push it to you. The only people I trust genuinely when it comes to information about my skin and what I should do to it now is my esthetician and my dermatologist. Back in the day when I had severe cystic acne, I'm talking like 3 to 4 cystic acne spots a day on my face, 5 to 6 on my back. I'm not kidding. It was so incredibly bad. I had to go to a dermatologist. I had to. It was not something I was going to fix with like the newest cream or the newest fucking acid facial fucking salmon sperm. No, that's not going to work. I needed like actual medication. It was something I needed to actually fix with medication. And I went on Accutane and it did help. Now that I'm in my mid-20s, my hormones are a little bit more out of whack. I don't think it's anything I need to start medication for, but it is something that I started seriously going to an esthetician about. And this is an esthetician who works with she doesn't push brands, but she's very, very clear about the brands that she does use and how good they are for your skin. This is not celebrity brand. This is not influencer brand. This is like teeny tiny little skincare brand that is, I guess, known between the estheticians. One's called like Image Skincare and the other one's called Face Reality. These are the only brands that have ever actually worked with my face. When I tell you, I have not been able to find a moisturizer that I can actually put on my face and not have it break me out ever. I've never used a face moisturizer up until last year. And then I started playing around with different face moisturizers and they'd make my face feel, moisturized, but I'd still find myself with blackheads and with pimples and waking up with closed comedones because it was actually clogging my skin, even though I was like, what the hell? These people said, oh, it's not supposed to clog my skin. What? No. She put me on to this new face moisturizer. It has changed the game. It's so good. It makes my skin actually feel moisturized and doesn't break me out. And it actually keeps me from developing blackheads. It's crazy. I trust her with my life now. I do. And I go once a month and it's expensive. I'm sure it's probably something you maybe can't afford in your early 20s, but in your late 20s, when you do have time to prioritize the things that matter to you and maybe your skin happens to matter to you, I highly recommend it. Having a good esthetician has changed my life and how I view my skin and how I approach it. Because honestly, I don't know anything about skin. I didn't go to school for it. I'm not a dermatologist. I don't have the knowledge on it. And there's some things in life, especially now that I'm older, where I've come to appreciate other people who do have the knowledge. We as human beings do not have to know everything. We don't. I mean, if you have a special interest, absolutely go out there, gain that knowledge. I think you should be smart and be aware and, have those niche interests and go down those rabbit holes. Skincare is not something I'm going to be able to understand to the fullest extent because it's not something I want to dedicate my life and my learning to. I know this, but I want good skin. Sometimes you gotta pay a specialist. It's like my car, okay? I don't know how to get under the fucking hood and do all that goddamn shit, all right? I'm just a girl. But that doesn't mean I'm just gonna let my car burn to the ground. No, I'm going to sometimes have to pay a specialist who knows what they're doing to fix those things for me. Whatever it may be in your life that you encounter, I think we should reward people for having good knowledge. I think that is something that is important. I think knowledge, especially nowadays, is important. And I'm very happy that I was able to find somebody who is very knowledgeable and very skilled in the industry that she does work in. So much so that it's so funny. Me and my old manager, I remember this like 3 years ago, we were chatting, and I mean, she has fantastic skin, but she was like, Hannah, you have no idea. Like, I used to have the worst skin ever. Like, rosacea and insane acne, like massive cystic pimples, like horrible acne. She's like, and I met this esthetician, she changed my life. I swear by her. I go by her every single month. Like, everything she gives me really does make a difference. And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. I love my estheticians too. Like, she's amazing. She's really changed my life. I was like, oh, you should go to her, you know, like you should check her out. She's like, oh, what's her name? We were going to the same esthetician. Yeah, we were going to the same person. And I mean, in the grand scheme of things, she is fairly affordable. Like one good facial a month that's like 30 to 60 minutes long, I think is like $70 plus tip. And for clear skin, listen, oh, that's a couple less t-shirts I have to buy a month. That's a couple less Chipotle runs I have to take a month. For clear skin, I'll do it. You know, sometimes we got to prioritize what we enjoy and what brings us peace. And for me, a good facialist has changed the game for me. How to stay sane in this crazy world right now? Much love. Honestly, I may seem sane, but I'm not. And I think especially when everything is so chaotic, like government wise and just like everything wise, staying sane is not an option. No. Staying sane is really not an option. I think we do have to be a little crazy. I think it's okay to look around you and be like, this is fucked up, and I'm not gonna pretend it's not. I don't think we should be pretending things are fine when it's not. It's like that meme of that dog sitting in the house fire and it's like, everything's fine. It's like, no, that's gonna drive you to insanity. That's gonna drive you to closing your eyes when you shouldn't have your eyes closed, to accepting problems when you could overcome those problems, to kind of laying down and being a doormat to life. I don't want you to ever be that. I think especially when you're asking yourself, like, should I be losing my mind over this? The answer is probably yes, and it's probably yes for a good reason. And I think we should allow that crazy out sometimes. I mean, we just had the No Kings protest, and I love it because it's so many people coming together that are like, no, this is insane, and we need to do something. We need to speak up. We need to stand up. We need to show up to the protests. We need to be out there. If I think something's wrong, I gotta voice that. I think going crazy over crazy things is the sanest thing that you can probably do nowadays. Genuinely. The most insane thing you can do is be like, wow, that's crazy. I'm just gonna turn my head and look the other way and pretend like I didn't just see that for my own peace. Girl, for your own peace, it's about to happen to you too. Like, we're all going to be affected no matter what it is. It's okay to be like, oh my God, that crazy thing is making me crazy. That is normal. That is real. That is healthy. And it's probably the most sane thing you can do nowadays is to be like, no, that's wrong. That's weird. What's going on? What are you guys talking about? Oh my God. I'm not going to pretend that just flew over my head. I'm not going to pretend to be sane because like that is crazy. That's crazy, you know? And I say that in a very general standpoint because there's a lot of fucking crazy things going on, no matter what country you're listening to this from. And I know there's a lot of people who listen to this from a lot of different countries. There's crazy things happening everywhere you go. And I think it's important to be aware of the situation around you and how you feel. Have those gut feelings, have those gut instincts, and stand 10 toes down behind them. To look around and be like, that's not right. And I'm going to tell you to your face that's not right, instead of pretending how you treated me or how you're treating people around me is okay. No. Sometimes being crazy is the most sane thing you can do, honestly, especially in the given situations we're in right now. Help Hannah. The pain of loving someone who doesn't love themselves. Oh, this is so hard. It really is, because I think it's important to show people love. I think especially when we're growing up, a lot of people don't know how to love each other because they weren't shown love growing up. And especially, you know, the older you get, the more you're set in your ways. But that doesn't mean we still shouldn't show each other love. or show each other, oh, this is my love language, so I'm going to share it with you. This is how I appreciate my day, so I'm going to share it with you. Buying a random cup of coffee, giving a random compliment. Like, I think we should go through this world sharing love and appreciation and kindness to whoever we approach. I think we do owe that to each other to kind of like brighten each other's lives. I think it's the human natural thing to do. And if you're sitting here and you're like, I don't owe anybody anything, I don't have to be nice to anybody, that's crazy. That's actually crazy. And I need you to step outside of your ego a little bit. Like, it's okay to tell that girl who's wearing a cute outfit that I like your outfit, or like I like your hair, or to compliment a person down the street, or to just be genuinely kind to your neighbor. That's a very normal, real, natural thing to do. And, you should be doing those things out of kindness and compassion in your heart, not because you want something back. Now, if it's in a more intimate sense of the word, where, maybe you're in a relationship with a friend, a close relative, a lover, where it's like, I love them and I show them love and I do it all the time. They just don't know how to love themselves, but I keep showing them, I keep trying to convince them, I keep trying to tell them. You can't teach somebody to do that, especially in a close relationship. You cannot like fix somebody into loving themselves. You can show them the ropes. You can give them some light and some ease to their life. I think that is absolutely an option. But when it comes to learning how to love yourself, that comes from within. You can't love someone into the perfect person. You can ease their mind, but you can't switch their way of thinking. The only way they can do that is from themselves and showing themselves love. I know this because I've been there, okay? I've been the girl who's like, I don't really like myself. Let's be real. I don't like myself. I don't know how to do this. This is weird. I've only ever talked down on myself. I've only ever done that. No one really came and like tried to show me love or appease me in any sort of way or like help me out. Whoops. Anyways, but I learned very, very quickly that the only way to learn how to love myself was through myself. And that's a motivation you have to find within yourself. That is a habit that you have to find within yourself. And you do kind of have to force it on yourself. I'm going to be honest. When I first started learning how to love myself, it was not easy, love. It was not. I had to fake a lot of things. Fake smiling, fake positive comments about myself, fake not actually caring about the negative things, putting hard roadblocks in between me and those negative thoughts or, habits that I was falling down that weren't good for me. It was a lot of hard work. The same way that, you put in hard work on like working out, strengthening your abs, your core, strengthening your arms. It was a lot of hard work on my brain. It was a mental workout of redirecting, changing those thought processes, learning what a good thought is, learning what a bad thought is, and, learning what kind of love I enjoyed. And that didn't come from receiving it. It came from doing it to myself. And you have to have that motivation to learn to love yourself, to learn to be inside yourself, to learn to be a part of yourself, to then learn to love yourself. It's not something that someone can teach you. It's something that you have to teach yourself. And I think what's so beautiful is in this world, you will have a lot of teachers. You will have a lot of elders who will give you advice, which is so amazing and so wonderful. You will have a lot of people in your life who love you, who want better for you, who will try and give you the tools and the tips to become a better person. But the greatest teacher in this world will be yourself. It will be yourself. It will be walking alongside yourself. It will be challenging yourself. It will be getting yourself out of your comfort zone. It will be learning alongside yourself as you would a friend. That will be the greatest teacher in your life. Because genuinely, can I give you guys a secret? Nobody knows you like you. Nobody does. And yeah, some people, their love language is getting $1 million transferred into their bank account. I mean, who doesn't love that? But some people, they could give less of a fuck. It's like, I just need physical connection. I just need some cuddles, And we don't know that until we learn that through ourselves and listen to ourselves and know how to listen to ourselves and put ourselves in those situations to learn and trust in ourselves and work on ourselves. And unfortunately, I just don't think that is something you can teach somebody. And it sucks, but if you're in a relationship where you feel like they don't love themselves, dare I say, they don't know how to love you. And I don't want you to ever be stuck in a loveless relationship. Love needs to come from both sides. It needs to be like a flowing river from both sides where you both give, not just one giving, because the other person's going to burn out, and it's not fair. It's not a balanced relationship. So if you find yourself there, please understand you can lay all the roadblocks down. You can give them the perfect tips, the perfect tricks, the perfect advice. I know this from sitting here and giving you guys a lot of advice, a lot of like tips and tricks, but truly, like, you listening to that is only going to give you so much motivation. You doing it is going to give you the ultimate motivation. It's going to give you the ultimate push. It's going to actually make a change and a difference in your life once you make that step. I can't make that step for you. And the same thing in a relationship when you're loving someone who can't love themselves. You know, you can do so much, but until they have the courage and the capability to take that step for themselves, it won't happen. It won't. They'll get there eventually. I do believe that. I do have this like general hope for the world, I guess, that everybody does want better for themselves and they are working to be better people. I mean, God, I fucking hope so. But I don't think it's something that you can really push onto a person or like rewire their brain for them. It's only something they can do for themselves. And the sooner you learn that, the sooner you will dodge a lot of bullets and a lot of like energy vampires, a lot of energy draining. And you'll learn how to establish healthy boundaries, you know. Someone said, I generally feel lost in life. Feels like rock bottom. Girl, we all hit rock bottom. I've hit rock bottom many times. I have. And you know what? Low key, I'm at a good place where I can say this. Universe, don't take this as a sign to make me hit rock bottom again, because like, ooh, girl, I just got out of that. We don't need to be there again. Please, for the love of God. I think my last rock bottom, if I'm remembering correct, and like I said, I've been there a couple times, was last March. I would say March. Yeah, March, where my cat was extremely sick. We were going on like month 3 of him facing the same illness. My car got stolen and it was tax season. And I was like, there's too much happening. This is too much for me to balance. I don't know what to do. Luckily, it was outside of myself where it was like, okay, real world math problems in that sort of way. Luckily, it wasn't like too much mental anguish. I mean, it was actually a lot of mental anguish. But it was extremely hard. Very hard. Very tough. I'm talking sobbing, cheeks touching cold tile floor on the bathroom floor, sobbing, crying. I can't lose my cat. I need to find money for a car. I need to buy a new car. I can't get anywhere. What do I do? Oh my God, I just dropped all this money on taxes, which is like not a big deal. Amen. Thank you for having money, period. But it was like oh man, life just got real heavy real quick. And the thing about rock bottom is you will learn more about yourself at rock bottom than you will at the top of that mountain. Yeah. When you are naked, cheeks to the floor, sobbing on your bathroom, cold tile floor, when you are raw, stripped down to your most basic being, that's when you learn about yourself, okay? How we getting up? Are you picking yourself up? Okay? Are we going to move forward? Are we going to persevere through this? Are we going to stand strong beside ourselves? You know, we're going to have a good cry, but are we going to get the fuck up and, you know, try to do better for ourselves or try to figure it out? Or are we going to sob ourselves to sleep and keep digging our hole deeper, you know, telling ourselves we're not a good cat parent and I'll never drive a car again and I'm never getting a car and I won't ever get it and oh my God, I'm so broke and life is so hard for me, and just dig. Are you going to dig your grave, or are you going to get up and try to just take one step forward? We learned so much more about ourselves at rock bottom than we ever could anywhere else. So please, if you're there, know it does get better. It does get better. I'm thinking about March to now. Oh, wow. Had so many great experiences in between. I figured it out. Of course you do. Of course you do. All you got to do is stand up. You'll figure it out. You will get through it. Life does get easier. You will find yourself back on top of that mountain again. but it is a great opportunity. I'll tell you what, to learn about yourself and to build resilience and build strength within yourself. Like I've said, I've been at many rock bottoms. That's probably my most recent. I've been at rock bottom when I was a fucking like a drug addict. Been at rock bottom when I'm like waking up delirious and not knowing where I am. I've been at rock bottom in relationships where I'm just with an abusive ass person and I feel like a shell of a human. I've been at rock bottom in the psych ward. You know, like I have been at many rock bottoms, and the goal is to limit those. You know, the more I learn about myself, the less I'm there. But I will tell you, it has made me such a strong individual. It has made me so much more confident in myself. It has made me so much more understanding and appreciative and courageous and kind by knowing that we all get down sometimes. We all hit that low point, but you will get up. You will get up. You will get up. You will go to the top of that mountain. You will relish in what it is to be alive and the beauty of it all. But what will you learn from this moment in time? Maybe this moment is strength. Maybe this moment is kindness. Maybe this moment is compassion. Maybe this moment is, you know, completely switching things up. I can't live this way anymore. Whatever it is, face that lesson, real, raw, stripped down who you are. Face that lesson head on, learn from it, get the fuck up, and push forward. If you need like real like inspiration, I'll tell you what. I know my TikTok girlies, they get it. Sometimes when I'm in like a really low point where I'm like, oh, I just can't do it. I wasn't meant for anything. I go on the Hope Core tag on TikTok and I just go through Hope Core videos. I'll just sit there and I'll sob and I'll scroll through Hope Core videos because I think the one thing that will really help you push and succeed in getting up from that low point, that rock bottom, is hope. Hope that you'll do better. Hope that it will get better. Hope that you can create that dream future for yourself. Hope that you'll figure it out. Hope is everything. It really is. It is the number one motivator, and it is such a powerful tool to have on your side. You should never give up on hope. And I'll tell you what, even at my lowest point, even when, you know, I'm talking lowest point, like did not want to be here, like ready to take myself out of the game, ready to turn off the console. I say metaphorically because I don't want to get this taken down. There was still that like spark, that like teeny tiny little spark inside of me of hope of like, but maybe I'll get better. And that is the one thing that got me to get help, that got me into the psych ward, that actually took therapy seriously, that started building up momentum and building up momentum and building up momentum. Started my podcast 4 years later. Now I'm here. I'm living such a life that I'm so proud of myself for being here, for persevering, for getting through, for getting up. It gets better. Life gets better. There's so much beauty out there that you will create for yourself, that other people will create for you. Light up that spark of hope inside of yourself. Cry it out if you need to. Watch some Hope Core videos. Get up. Take one step forward. You got this. I got this. Seriously. If there's one thing I can do on here, and like the one thing I really care to do with this podcast is provide hope. I guess it's a good little, you know, full circle moment. But back in the day when I, you know, got out of my severe depression, I was like a senior in high school, and I was a part of all of these like suicide prevention groups. I really wanted to like, I understood how I felt and I understood how isolating it was. And I wanted other people to know how it felt to not be alone. You know, I don't ever want to deny your experience or even like talk about the depression, but I want you to know that you're not alone, because it can be such an isolating, such a lonely journey to be on when you think that nobody understands you. And I think it is so nice to have some understanding. I think what made my journey less lonely was just a few people who reached out with understanding to me. And I found myself in these groups, and these groups were doing nothing for understanding. They weren't doing anything for understanding. Sure, you hand out your flyers, you hand out your phone numbers. Great, fantastic. I think we need information. I think you need readily accessible information, period. But there was no hope. There was no understanding behind it. And so I kind of fell out of that. Life got ahead of me. And then I found myself, you know, back kind of in the same place. And I realized how important it was and started this podcast and realized, wow, finally I get to do what I want to do. Finally, I just get to sit here and let people know that I get you. To metaphorically like reach out a hand to you and set it on top of yours and be like, it's okay. I've been here. You've been here. You're not alone. And it is such a blessing to have finally been able to achieve that, to be here and be able to reach out that hand to you guys. And I'm so, so lucky to have the platform I do. I'm so lucky to have you guys showing up for me every single week, for new people finding me. It is a blessing and such a life, beautiful life that I get to live. Just being able to do this every single week, twice a week with you guys. And I could not be more thankful, because I know if there's one thing I'm going to do in this life, if there's one thing I really feel passionate about in this life, is making people feel less alone. That is my one goal, my one passion, my one drive. And I stumbled upon it. You know, I knew it's what I wanted. I kept moving on with life, had it in the back of my head. All of a sudden, I'm like 1 year into this podcast and I realized, holy shit, everything that I wanted to do that was going wrong in all of these like suicide prevention groups that were going high school to high school, I'm finally able to, you know, do. I'm finally able to reach that hand out to people and let them know it's okay. You know, what you're going through is hard. We'll get through it. But most importantly, let me be a little bit of hope and let me give you guys, you know, a laugh to break the tension, a giggle about the messiness of life, and most importantly, just understanding that you are not alone in this life, ever. But I love you all so much. Seriously, wow, what a world, what a journey. How thankful I am for this podcast. Literally cannot be put into words. And I know it seems silly, podcast, but yes, you guys have changed my life, and hopefully I have been able to make some sort of impact on yours. You know, sure, we can get on here and be silly and stupid and high and stoned. I mean, that's what life's about. But also in the serious moments, I hope I can provide a spark to that light that I know is burning inside of you. I love you all so incredibly much, my Smoke Sesh family, my hotties around the world. Thank you for showing up for me every week. Like I said, I'm forever indebted to you all. And with that being said, next week, let me know next week if you guys want a confessionals episode next week or after Halloween. Please let me know. If you want to see more from me, always on the Patreon, I do an extra episode where I answer every single question. I'm not even kidding. And on the Patreon, what's nice is you can upload like upwards of like 3 to 4 paragraphs. And yes, I will read it out loud. Like, girl, I'm ready. Let's dive in. What problem you got? Maybe we can work it out together. Maybe I can provide some understanding. We go over every single question. Last week, I think we went over 55 questions. We have a ball over there, and I can be a little bit more chaotic because it's behind a paywall, you know? Plus much more fun things on Patreon. And if you want to check out the vlog, oh yeah, on YouTube at Hannah Marlene 444. It's a little fun, little spooky little vlog. I got into my like BuzzFeed Unsolved era where I like did some fun editing. It's cute. It's silly. I don't know. I'm just trying to, like I said, keep that creative spark alive. Just keep pushing out content. Keep doing the thing that I do enjoy. And more recipes going up soon on Instagram, as well as some fun, cute pumpkin picking pictures. But with that being said, I love you all so much. Stay sane, stay sexy, and I'll see you all so soon. Mwah.